Hello, everyone. Welcome to SMB Stories Digital Playbook for SMBs, a series where we discuss the crucial areas of SMB digitization. As you know, in the wake of the COVID 19 pandemic, Indian businesses of all sizes are embracing technology at a breakneck pace. The total digital opportunity offered by these Indian SMBs will grow much bigger, accelerating digital transformation for all. And this is a really big business opportunity for building these digital products, solutions, and platforms. To shed some light on this topic, we have put together this panel where we deep dive into building digital products for SMBs. First, we have Hiren Shah, who is the founder and chairman of Vertos. With over 20 years' experience in tech entrepreneurship, Hiren's vision is to add value to the lives of customers and provide digital support to businesses by creating invaluable yet simple to use services. So I'd like to extend a warm welcome to Hiren.
Thank you, Rishabh. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
And next, we have Logesh Velusamy, who's the founder and CEO at Efitraq Solutions. Logesh is someone who's extremely passionate about empowering MSMEs with technology solutions made especially for them. Efitraq offers software as a service based end to end business process tools that efficiently track all aspects of a business. The solution covers books, CRM, ERP, analytics, and more. Good to have you, Logesh.
Thank you for having me here, Rishabh.
So I'd like to begin with a question for both of you. Over the past few months, there are so many conversations around COVID-19 and what is its business impact, especially what is its business impact on smaller businesses, which have struggled a lot more. And a lot of these small businesses are also going about adopting digital solutions at a speed which is much faster than what was expected. It has created a really big business opportunity. So, Hiren, I'd like to get your thoughts first. What is the impact that you have seen of this pandemic on SMBs for adopting digital products?
I would say, there are two kinds of effects which we are seeing. For few people, who have already implemented some portion of it earlier. Okay, they are and were ready. They really used it very well. And those people who have thought of it and not implemented it, okay, they absolutely felt that we are left out. Okay, and they are like totally behind it now. We want it at anyhow. That kind of a situation is there for the SMBs because they have really realized the value of digital thing in this particular time when nobody has expected that we could have this kind of a situation. See, we could have seen that there is a low down or there is a high businesses or something like that, but nobody has seen the stop of a business. There's a full stop. Okay, there is a no meeting, there is no personalized thing, there is no personal, physical touch. There are a lot of different things which we have never expected, and those things were already been solved by digital a long back, but nobody had thought that that we wanted to have. No, there are a lot of and specifically SMBs where the SMBs or SMEs or like medium small enterprises where everything is driven by entrepreneur. They all think that I know everything. Okay, and my dad and my dad's dads had done business in this way, and we know how business happen. Okay, they don't come and teach us the business that there is something new thing can be possible. So there's a lot of change which they also have accepted now. That okay, yes, this is something we missed it. We should have it now. So this is what my observation in last 6 months, that there are a lot of different people who have not started. Now they started thinking, and they keep coming, they keep talking. So we want to do something. I don't know what. A transport business to a grocery store, or from a still business guy who's a broker. Okay, he also wants to do something on Digitalize, which we have also never thought that something can be possible for a broker who is doing a still brokering. So, those kind of things have started. So, that's something we really feel that they are now starting taking advantage of it. And I'm sure they will really do great with the digital stuff.
Yeah, Logesh, just coming to you, you work with a lot of SMBs at the ground level. In fact, we just spoke a few weeks back about how some companies have in fact started using more of these digital products, your own especially. So I'd just like to get your thoughts on this.
As Hiren said, like mentioned, people started leveraging digital technologies, and they're improving their efficiency. They're improving their revenue stack. As mentioned, like the grocery people, right? So with COVID across, when the lockdowns, People had to stay back at home, and so with all that in place, now it was a mandatory stuff for grocery shops to have an online presence. People initially leveraged platforms like WhatsApp, but it couldn't do the job. Even though it helped them to move to the next level, but they had to implement a stronger technologies to help them move to the next level, right? So we have a couple of stories on that line. We got a customer who was into a cafe. As you know, like cafe business, they had like 60 to 70% revenue drop because of the pandemic. Now they are moving towards online business. They started selling cookies, sweets, venturing to allied businesses via digital means. Similarly, like we have certain other customers who have already embraced all this, and they say they haven't even seen any drop in revenue because they already had that space, right? They already were in digital and they were already selling all this, so they had a zero impact. Whereas those who are only on offline mode, they had a 60 to 70% impact in the same industry altogether. So people are realizing it now, and people are trying to leverage these technologies, and we are happy that we are helping them out there.
And you mentioned WhatsApp. In fact, like WhatsApp, there are also some really large players who have built solutions for SMBs, the likes of Tally, QuickBooks, some large ERP systems providers, payment platforms, even advertising platforms. So, according to you both, besides your own products, what are some of these digital products that have become popular and really well received, very helpful for these SMBs? So, Hiren, you can go first.
There are like many products. See, basically, in early days of like 15, 16, a lot of different SaaS related products have came into the market. And people have really thought of like, we'll build our own stuff, But in this particular situation, they all have realized, why are we reinventing will? Okay, will is already invented. So there are a lot of different small, medium softwares available which can digitize your existing product, existing business model without you investing in the technology. So I have read somewhere that there are almost 70% of your business can digitize with the help of existing software. 30%, which could be your core thing, required to be built on the top of those things. Okay, where you can go live in no day, no time. So, there are a lot many softwares are built. From start with a chatbot to website builder to, CRM, small ERP, accounting softwares. Many of them are already on the cloud, and you're able to subscribe them and you're able to use it. We ourselves, we talk about, we have changed our HR portal recently from a normal to a work from home kind of a stuff. Okay, which was earlier, because see, and we did it in like what, less than 24 hours. Everything got implemented into the new platform with just fraction of time. So earlier, in early days, if you wanted to move an HR stuff of a 200 employee, it used to take like 1 month of implementation time. But now, because of all of this software which is available and which can be readily, easily, implementable, you're able to do it in a no time. So I feel that there are a lot many softwares, a lot many things which is available on the cloud, and they are really fruitful and really helpful to all these SMBs to go live with very easy implementation. Maybe Logesh can add more. He has, he's directly dealing with the SMBs on all the aspects of the implementation compared to us, where we are purely on the marketing side and we are helping them in a marketing way. But maybe Logesh add a little more.
Yeah, Logesh.
Sure.
Rishabh, now people are thinking, when say there are two things, right? So people were using technology to run the business. Now people wanted to run business digitally. There's a lot of difference, right? Running a business digitally or using a business for using a technology to run a business. It's a lot more difference. So now people are looking at solutions through which they can run their business digitally, like be it work from home, be it managing your finance, be it managing your HR or whatsoever, right? So which solutions can help them run their business digitally is the question mark, right? And people are not trying to invent anything new because there are a lot of solutions already available in place. Now people are trying to leverage all this. Now there is a clear-cut focus on running business digitally. Say like in the case of Efitraq, we power all the departments and we power MSMEs to run the business digitally. Be it a grocery shop, be it an e-commerce solution, or be it a B2B, a van sale, whatsoever, right? Or as Hiran mentioned, they were able to switch over in less than 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Even large corporates, they were able to embrace such technologies in less than 24 hours, thanks to technologies like and SaaS platforms, right? So you don't need a traditional way of doing things. So there are a lot of people who are trying to convert, and the key here is like exploration, education, right? So MSMEs, what they lag is like the education on these kind of tools.
True.
But there are tools already available, so they need to understand, make them educated, and then leverage this.
To just go into how someone can build these products, because the whole theme of the discussion is in fact on how to build them. Maybe Lokesh, I'll come to you first, then we can go to Hiren. You are someone who ran your own businesses before you started Efitraq, and there were numerous challenges that you faced in trying to manage so many different processes. So starting with the financial aspect of it, so what kind of financial resources do you think somebody needs to start building these digital products?
So this is very a subjective question. It depends on what problems we solve, right? See, what it all matters is like how clear you are with the problem, whether the problem exists, because the perspective of the customers and perspective of the entrepreneurs are always different. People fail because they fail to understand the real problems. They perceive that there is a problem, but that may not be a problem. So again, the financial needs will vary based on the problem we solve, the technology we use. I mean, to be very fair, like finance may not be an issue. The issue will be like whether you have understood the problem, whether you're delivering the right solution. Once you do that, you can definitely attract required financial assistance from the ecosystem. So ecosystem is wide open today, and people are having a lot of access to this ecosystem to get financial needs. So I would recommend people to understand and justify whether they are able to solve the problems. I would recommend to go speak to the end customers. With respect to Efitraq, even though I'm an MSME owner, I had to interview minimum of 100 MSME owners who are not related to me to understand their pain points, whether my perspective, see, because I come from a technology background, probably I might see it as a difficult task, but actual MSME owner may not have this an issue. So it needs a lot of exercise, and you need to put more efforts in that when you build a solution for MSMEs.
Okay, Hiren, what do you think? Do you agree that it's all about identifying the key problem area first, and what are your thoughts on the financial aspect?
I completely understand with what Logesh says that, and I completely agree that financial thing is financial model can be worked out, but first of all, you need to understand is what exactly the problem is and how you're able to identify and how you're able to provide the solution to that particular problem. So as I'm also a kind of a investor, angel investor in various small startups. And one of the recent thing which I would like to share here, that one startup who had come to us for a funding, that startup has created its MVP, minimum viable product, by using websites like Fiverr, which is where a lot of freelancers are working. Okay, and has created this MVP by using those people and spend like less than $100. Okay, but creating that particular startup, and they got funded through us. Okay, so it's not like you will get the ways to money, because obviously there is a way, but you should first of all you need to understand the pain point of those SMBs, like exactly where you are solving and how exactly you are solving, and it is really a workable thing. Because there are ideas come like anything, but end of the day, is that idea is actually working, and it can give a value to somebody's life. If it is giving a value to someone's life, someone's business, it has a lot of potential. So this is what, again, I would like to give a second to what Logesh says.
Thanks, Hiren. Coming to the next area, so let's say that a product builder has identified a problem area, and they want to build a solution for it. What kind of expertise would they need? Do they need to have a background in engineering? Do they need how to code, or can they hire a team, or can they outsource it? So there are a lot of questions that come to mind when it comes to building a team or having the expertise for it. So, Logesh, I'd like your thoughts on this, then we can quickly jump to Hiren.
As mentioned in the previous question, like customer needs plays a major role here as well, right? So that people generally think that if they know technology, they can build any tool. but that's not the case, right? You need to understand what customer needs. And the second important aspect is like usability. Are you building a solution, and who is a user, whether they understand this solution, right? The biggest challenge with MSME is like last mile delivery. How intuitive a solution could be, but still MSMEs in today's world, they wanted people to be in front of them, help them, assist them, because technology is a new thing to them. So even though they use mobile phones, still when it comes to business, running a business, they have a panic in place, right? So they're not much comfortable, because that's not how they run the business, they used to run the business. So uh, to me, like, understanding the customer needs, your product capabilities, and the usability front plays a major role. So it has to be built for your user, it has to be built for the MSME, and the characteristic cannot change, right? So say, like, for instance, an MSME owner will not have any clue about what a credit and debit is. So you need to give a solution to him in his language, not in an accountant's language. Predominantly in India, major MSMEs are less than are between 5 to 10 employees, right? So they cannot afford to have a full-time accountant. So that's the biggest gap now, and they still use Excel sheets and Word predominantly in that space to deliver certain things, right? So building why they are using Excel sheet is because it's comfortable to them, it's much usable than any other solution. So we need, actually the real competitor for us is Excel sheet, and make it more usable than Excel sheet plays a biggest challenge. So usability and user needs, customer needs plays a major role there, Rishabh.
Okay, okay. Hiren, what do you think? How do you go about matching what is the consumer's need with your own expertise? So what is your opinion? How have you done it in your own company?
So yeah, first of all, as what Logesh also said, as what you all understand that user is the king. User is the one who has to use it. But it is always said that they want something, but they don't know what they want. That's also again a big problem. So we have to read between the lines, because it's like, we have to go from what to how. Okay, because they are generally, they want to tell you that how, but actually they want to say what. So now, first of all, you need to have that proper line between the what to how, that what exactly what they want, and how exactly we can implement by using actual technology or actual thing, actual stake which we have. Because it's very simple thing. We all will talk with our own exposure. So our exposure towards the business is exposure. I mean SMBs or anyone, but exposure towards a technology is something a technology company can bring. So now this two need to match with the way what and how it works. So you have to find that proper line in between. The moment you're able to find it, then you're able to build your team. Because see, there are team, you can get coding done, you can get certain thing done, which is not like 90s whatever we used to do in 90s or 2000, the code we used to write 10,000 lines of code can be written in like with the 3 or 5 functions now. Okay, coding may not be a problem, but the logic is a problem, the understanding is the problem. We have to find right understanding of what exactly the problem that particular customer or SMB is facing. The moment we are able to find it, because I have seen many startups whose founders are not engineers, the founders are not technocrat, but they have built great product because they really understand well about their user. That okay, I exactly know the pain point of it. So I believe that I mean, if we are able to see that particular pain point, there is a lot of potential to give them the right solution what they're looking for.
Okay. Hiren, another question for you. Sticking with the same theme, so like you mentioned, lots of lines of code can be written in a much easier way. So things are becoming easier on the technical front. But I'm sure there must still be some existing technical challenges. So, maybe there could be a challenge in terms of patents or in terms of deployment or, many other things. So can you tell us what are some of these technical challenges that one should be careful about?
There are, of course, there are, with the time, challenges get a different flavor. Okay, in early times, when I had my first computer, I had no hard drive. Okay, so I was not knowing how to store the data. Okay, and the first hard drive which I got was a 20 MB hard drive, and I was happy that I can store something on that hard drive. Okay, obviously I had a challenge, some different challenge in those days than the different challenges which we have now. See, now as SMBs, first of all, I've seen these are the experiences which I'm sharing, that I've seen the startups or SMBs to building a product, but they do not look for a scalability of it. They feel that, okay, I have built it, this is a fantastic product, and for them, obviously, it's like, for me, my son is always a hero, or for my son, his dad is always a hero, another way around. So we always think that my product is excellent, but we do not see the global standard of it. Okay, we are not seeing the scalability of it. We do not see the, the cross. Just to give another idea, for example, music industry always thought that my rival is another music company. Okay, music industry never thought that a telco can be their big rival and they can make a huge money out of it by just selling a ringtone. Okay, so we do not see that cross thing. Okay, so there are a lot of different things, challenges which is there because of the technology. This all is possible, that you have to see on both the sides, not just the perspective, just the product perspective, but also industry perspective as well. So yeah, there are a lot of challenges, whether it comes to say scalability, when it comes to actual real coding. Because I have seen startups who are building a great product, they get some 10 customers on board. The moment 11th customer gets onboarded, their code gets shattered, and they just have to rebuild again. They said, oh, I have used MySQL, and MySQL has only this much of limitation. I need to go for a big data. Oh, I never thought of it. Then I have to change my whole architecture. So those kind of a thing, because they start with certain thing. Obviously, they're able to understand the user's perspective, they will understand the user's pain point. But because the team is not go so great, so they do not get a proper guidelines. At the end, at certain level, they just have to rebuild it again. So those things which I feel and which I've seen in the as a challenges for this kind of companies.
Logesh?
I agree with the view of Hiran. To add more on it, see, this one product, one industry, one country approach will not work, right? So people, what they do today is this approach, and modular architecture plays a key. So we need to be in an inclusive ecosystem. We need to accept that others will also live in this, and we should learn how to live with them. So reducing the CAC or increasing the LTV is the key role when it comes to technology. Now to achieve that, you need to be in inclusive environment. You need to make friends, like you need to go with others. Like Haran was mentioning, right? So how telecom made money with ringtones. So this is how, right? So I need not build to sell, right? When I have so I can also take support from others, or I can see it in a different perspective. So one product, one industry, one country approach will never work out. Second, technology change requirement, right? Customer, so change management. The way we perform businesses in the last 3 decades, if you see in the last 5 years, it was a drastic changes. They brought in demonetization, so which made mandatory for digital adaptation when it comes to payments. GST brought in a lot of compliances issues, and a lot more compliances, statutory requirements when it comes to payroll whatsoever, right? So, and every day we are seeing a change. So business have to adapt these changes. So you need to have a robust technology platform to incorporate these changes. I cannot tell my customers that, boss, I haven't thought about this. I will take another 6 months to come back. So I cannot deliver EA bill from October 1st. I might need another 6 months to deliver that. But now it doesn't work that way. So your approach should be totally different. And we are in a very, say, pre-COVID and post-COVID, the technology adaptation, the technology scalability was totally different. So we should leverage these opportunities. People who can architect well with all this in mind can only grab these opportunities. The rest will lose them. Like they'll stuck with 10, 20, 30, 50, 500, whatsoever.
Yeah. Coming to the issue of pricing, when you are looking at who your customer is and what problem you're solving for them, you kind of get an idea of how much are people willing to pay for this product which solves their problem. So I want to go a little bit deeper into that. Hiren, I want to come to you. How do you decide the pricing of your product? Because SMBs can be very conscious about cost. There are some theories that say, they will not pay more than 500 rupees per user for the product. So those numbers may vary, but what is your approach to deciding the pricing?
SMBs has that particular price consciousness always. See, I'm in industry since last 20 years plus, and I've seen that, specifically in Indian mentality, I want the cheapest one, and I want this to run best. That's number one. Number two, SMBs, anything on computer or anything on digital, anything on internet is not an investment, it is an expense, and which is one of the biggest break, or maybe like kind of issue which we all have, where we unable to implement the right solution at the place, because we do not consider this as an enabling thing, which is which can really make your business a worthwhile to as an investment. Then we consider this as a expense. Even our books of accounts also had the similar thing, when we talk to our accountant, that computers and there are softwares and certain things has the highest value of depreciations, or this can be considered as an expense. So first of all, what we try and make users understand as and when it is required, that you need to understand the value which you will derive out of it, exactly how the business will get changed, and then be able to provide them the right pricing. Because if you unable to understand, it's a very simple thing. There was a small story about one machine which was stopped, and somebody asked one experienced guy to come and repair that particular machine. So that guy came, and he came with a hammer, and he just put the hammer at one place, and then he says, okay, now start the machine, and machine started working. So the guy asked, the factory owner asked that guy, how much you want? He says $1,000. He says $1,000 for that just hammering. So this can be just $1 or $5, $10, $100. It's fine. Why $1,000? The guy says like it's $1 is to do that particular work, and $999 for the where to do. That was charging you, that way I'm charging you $999. So this thing which we need to make these assemblies understand, that you are not just getting a copy of a code. Okay, there is something of business viability and business suitability which we have defined for you, which can change your business model, the way you're working, and can give you efficiency than what you used to work. So I mean, this is what my experience with whatever products we have sold so far, and the services which we have provided, that we tried and make customer understand the value of it, then just comparing it with A versus B versus C. So that is something which I would say.
Okay. Logesh, your thoughts on pricing?
Yes, Rishabh. Let's see, as Hiran was mentioning, like in any country for that matter, that too in India, people are very sensitive with pricing, right? So the key thing what we are missing here is like what's the value add we are going to bring in with that investment. It is not an expense, right? It has to be treated as an investment. So what is the value they are going to get? What's the benefit they are going to get? So I used to tell, right? So technology is an employee who can work for 36 hours a day. So for such a work, how much you're going to pay? And today in today's world, the least a skilled employee have to be paid minimum 15,000 per month, right? So what a technology can replace, what technology can help you with, what technology can help you grow, or what information technology can give you, and what's the value add you have taken, what's the return on investment you have made out of that, plays the key. So the biggest challenge is like educating them on that, right? So you cannot go and talk to them on a case-to-case basis and help them educate. Educating them is a highly tedious task. So generally, what we did is like we gave them at a cheaper price, and we added add-ons. See, this is your technology suite. When you add this button, when you add this feature, this is what you see. You see the benefits. You explore it. You measure it. Quantify it. If you see the benefits, keep it enabled. Otherwise, make it off. Go for a cheaper value. So with my interaction and with my own experience, people are open to pay if the technology is providing them the return on investment and the key benefits. But customers also had a bad experience with the poor choice of technologies. Say, for instance, if someone a technology stack could be well-suited technologies to a stack for a retail company may not work for a wholesale business, because the technology was not built for that industry. So choosing technology plays a major role. People fail there. People fail to use the right tool which is built for them, and then they think technology is an expenditure. So a lot of education has to go on in empowering them, in educating them, and help them understand the return on investment and the benefits out what they're gonna get out of it.
You know, we discussed about some larger players in the market before and how, some of them are very trusted names when it comes to things like financial processes or bookkeeping. So trust plays a really big role for SMBs. So they want to cite where their money is going and they don't want to lose track. So they prefer to go with a trusted name or a trusted partner. So if a product builder is new and if they want to get their product into the market, what are the challenges that they face considering that there are all these trusted names in the market? Can they explore some partnerships or some collaborations maybe? Hiren?
Of course, the collaboration is definitely a good way to get into the market. But at the same time, we I don't know, specifically SMB has a one very good or bad advantage of what we say following. Okay, you if you're able to get the influencer in place, okay, you're able to get those things implemented very quickly, because here our trust starts with those influence. Okay, that how exactly this has been implemented somewhere and how exactly it has been benefited somewhere. If we able to show those case studies, if we able to show those real value to the user, they are ready to experiment it, because see, now they've understood that they have to change. See, it's not this is a post-COVID scenario I'm talking about. Maybe pre-COVID, they'll say, no, no, this doesn't work in that way. I know business, I know very well how exactly this works, how my customers behaving. But post-COVID, they was also understood that no, I have to explore. I have to get into something. I have to have something in place which can help me bring and build what I have. So now when you want to do that, obviously trust factors is a big, definitely a big issue. And specifically when you talk about, if we specifically talk about the finance related stuff that we are looking for, like I want to make sure that my finance, my numbers, my things are safe and it has not been shared with other people unnecessarily or whatever is that. But if you're able to show those, scenarios or case studies with the specific brands who have implemented them, okay, I'm sure that others will start following it. I do not feel that now it's any more only a monopolistic business model has remained. Now obviously if there are small companies, they can also do great if they have a good product. And we have seen that in the market as well. I know there are small products also have won a big project, which they have never thought of that they will ever win. So yeah, so I definitely I believe that collaboration is definitely required, but also believe that influencer is also a big thing which is required for SMB, and you can really win a lot of business out of it.
Okay. Logesh, when I interviewed you some time back, you said that some of these larger brands, the products that they offer may not be very end to end. So by creating an end to end product, you're really bringing together everything on one platform, which is easy to use. So I just want to understand from you, what are the market challenges, that you may have faced or that you may suggest others need to watch out for when they're trying to take the product into the market?
The challenges were on the education front, right? So we need to first make them understand that there can be a singular solution where we can, because people are moving towards a pointed solutions. For accounts, go for one software. For HR, go for another software. For timekeeping, go for another software. So that's how we are moving towards, right? So with this kind of a trend, if someone goes with them and tell them that no, I have built a singular solution where you can manage your A to Z of your business in one umbrella, they take step back. They want to make sure that are they have they heard properly. So in initial days we had tough time in educating them, but the good thing is like today we have been backed up with the industry leaders. So working with a lot of CFO companies, a lot of partners across India, like we are working with more than 100 partners now. See, always the first two or first 50 or first 100 plays a major role, right? So first 10 customers, first 100 customers, first partner, first 100 partners plays a role, right? So now we have, see, once you help them understand the benefits, what we're going to give, and if they see, they witness that there can be a singular solution which can be leveraged, and there can be a solution which could be leveraged to improve their efficiency. then there's a market for sure. So, but the initial educating the client or the partner plays a key role. That too, after COVID, with mobility restrictions in place, that being the toughest challenge, but still there is a openness. Like people see post pre-COVID, people are not open to explore. Today, everyone is compelled to explore. They are exploring every day. They explore whether there is any how do I improve? Can I bring in something like here? So they are pretty much open today. And even partners see improving the efficiency and bringing in more revenue even for the partner is a key today. So they're also exploring. So when you can show them good use cases, success stories, then they come to us. So we have won large deals with one, two, three sample implementations.
Okay. Thanks, Lokesh. Hiren, I want to come to you with a specific question. Vertos, your company is is India's first publicly listed ad tech platform, and you have large companies as well as smaller companies using it. So I just want to ask you, what is the thing that you keep in mind when building this product, considering that smaller companies as well as larger companies are using it. So how do you make that distinction, and what goes on in your head when you're actually building that product?
So basically, there was a Steve Jobs of a very good story which I have heard about. Whenever he used to prepare his press release (PR), he used to make sure that he used to get it read by a 8-year-old kid, and he used to make sure that if that kid is able to understand that press release, okay, press release, which is a kind of a generally technical terminology involved release, then he used to make it live. So I always believed that in other way around that, if we able to make a solution which is SMB friendly, obviously big enterprise, it's automatically become big enterprise friendly. Okay, so that because SMBs, SMBs are the people, where you see that a lot of things happen at a one place. I mean, they are like, master of all basically. Okay, and they just always try to do everything together at one place and try to do, and in a same guy has like a 3 roles or 5 roles compared to what a big enterprise has a like one role and one guy. So the moment you're able to understand an SMB, you're able to understand a bigger enterprise, because as it's an extension to the SMBs. Obviously there is a multiple role they have, and they want a specific thing where at a larger scale they need certain different feature for a role based, there are certain different things required. So obviously we always have a few features which is a purely for the big enterprises, but generally in a overall our features are generally which is very SMB friendly. We try and make sure that we also understand that SMBs do not have a big budgets. They also come up with a small budgets, so we try and make sure that they able to experiment certain thing with the smaller budgets, then the comparing spending a huge budget and then get the certain result, because that's also become a very important for them. Because see, it's like, if they spend, say for example, their budget is only 100 rupees, and we ask, an enterprise's budget is 1,000 rupees, and so there are certain product or certain places where you spend minimum 1,000 rupees, then only you get what result is required. Then you spend 100 3 times, you still at a zero value. So we always try and make sure that whatever products we have can be, can start giving them a result by spending a little bit of money, and they're able to experience the winning. Because see, they are also experimenting, and in any experiment in the life, the moment you start getting something on a winning, you have a more, become enthused, you start spending and you start doing little more. See, obviously we understand that there is always a kind of a saturation period, that you need to spend this much of time, this much of money to get certain result. But the moment you're able to start getting certain result at certain spend, you start increasing that. So we try and understand the psychology of the SMBs, and we try and build certain things for them. At the same time, for the enterprises also, we have a solution where whatever is required for them as well.
Thanks, Hiren. I just want to stick with this theme of simplicity and coming to Logesh. A while ago you just mentioned that when you tell some SMBs that you have all these features within your platform, they take a step back, right? But you are still someone who you are still keeping it simple. So how do those two things work together? So I just want to know, some small businesses may feel scared looking at so many features. So how do you still keep it simple?
That is a wonderful question, Rishabh. So what we have done is like we have created a templates, right? Because every industry, say, and every size of the business is unique. So they need to see what they need to see is the mindset they always have. If you show them more features, they'll get collapse. They'll get panic, right? So what we did is like we have created tailor-made packages, pre-built templates meant for every size of a company and every industry as such. So meaning like for a retail company with a micro business size, so we know like these are the features they need them, and we have created add-ons, right? So when they sign up, it will be a vanilla, a basic one, and they can keep adding it. So it's a completely a modular architecture where they can add on. Say that when they sign up, they will not see the entire stack. So based on our experience and exposure, we have created these templates, and these templates are targeted to a specific customer segment. So that's how we play, and we are seeing good results there.
That's great, Logesh. Just coming to the last section, I'd like to quickly get some short and quick golden rules considering this entire debate. So, Hiren, I want to ask you first. What are your one or two golden rules for SMBs to adopt digital products faster, cheaper, and more conveniently?
First of all, I would like to, have an SME to make sure that do not reinvent the wheel. Try and, explore existing solutions which can work out for you. Okay, and try and see that, you able to measure your stuff, that after implementing, how much growth you able to get out of it. See, I have seen that a lot of companies implementing a lot of stuff, but end of the day, they just scrap down everything because they feel that our business has become a technology business instead of our own business. So always try and see that you're able to measure and you're able to implement right thing. Second thing which I would like to tell about the SMB is that make sure you scrap as soon as possible. When you feel that this is not working, do not marry. Okay, do not marry to something, because there is always second, third thing is available if you scrap that particular second thing. So always believe that there is a lot of different changes. You have to be very agile about adopting and adapting the technology. So this is what I feel, 2 cents about this thing.
Sure. Logesh?
I will go the list of Heron, and to add more, like choose the technologies built for them. So that is one thing. And as Heron mentioned, measure the return on investment, quantify it. So for every step you do, quantify it. Make sure that you're on the right track. And go, man, see, like I have seen in my experience, right? People are open to pay 5 lakh upfront rather than taking a subscription fee. So there are a lot of myths associated to when it comes to technology buy, right? So go beyond that, try understand it, try experiment it, and do a return on investment calculation. Validate what's the return on investment. Measure the quantifiable KPIs.
Okay. Last question, Hiren. I think I just want to ask you about a few golden rules for those who want to build the product. And I think, both of you will agree on, and you've said it also, is that, understand what problem you're solving, understand the customer. So is there anything you would like to add on to that, golden rules for product builders?
Do not make your product a lot of feature rich. Make it as simple as, and make sure that so there's one other thing, the way Steve Jobs says that he used to make his this particular PR to get read by 8-year-old kid. There's one more saying is there that your product should be able to use by your 83-year-old or 85-year-old dadi. Okay, if she able to use your product is super. So, on both the sides, because now obviously 8-year kid has become more smarter to use the technology stuff than your 83-year-old Adi. So, this is what specific thing which I would like to share here.
Okay. Lokesh?
Yeah, so it has to be value driven and it has to be modular, and they need to understand that they need to work with in an ecosystem. So inclusive approach is always mandatory with focus on usability.
Okay, thanks, Logesh. And this brings us to the end of an insightful panel. A big thanks to both of you for joining us. And we hope everyone who watches this finds the discussion insightful and has some useful takeaways. This panel was part of SMB Stories Digital Playbook for SMBs, a series where we come together to discuss the crucial areas of digitization. Thanks to all who watch, and thanks Logesh and thanks Hiran for joining us. Bye.
Thank you, Rishabh. Thank you, Logesh. Nice meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rishabh. Thank you, Helen. Nice meeting you too.